What's going on, friends? This is Neil Adler with another episode of Syracuse Central on the Fan Arch Network. Happy Wednesday. Who stayed up late on Tuesday night and watched that home win for Syracuse basketball? I did, which isn't easy for someone of my age. And yes, I did turn 48 on January 1st. So this is Syracuse Central. We talk about Syracuse basketball and football and recruiting in both sports. Please hit that subscribe button if you feel so inclined and give me feedback on every single episode, whether you like it or not. Tell me what's up. All right, so so Florida State came to play on Tuesday night at the Dome. They came to the game, I think, with a 7-9 record. They had lost three in a row. They did play Duke really close at home. And they came to play. Syracuse had, I think their largest lead was 10 points, a couple points, couple instances in the second half. Florida State actually out of the gates was strong. I think they went up 11-3. They played with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, a sense of urgency. I think Syracuse was a little slow out of the gates, obviously, 11-3 down. But they fought back, had a nice run to go up by 3 at halftime. They headed up to 10 in the second half. I feel like more than once. Florida State went on runs, ended up taking the lead, but Syracuse did enough to win. So it was, let's just say defense was optional, which is, it's interesting because coming into this game, Syracuse was, I think, number 2 in the ACC in scoring defense, allowing about 66 points per game. Florida State was dead last at like 81 or something. So what happened is Florida State gave up a lot of points again because the final score was 94-86, but Syracuse's defense wasn't very good either. It was an exciting game. It was an exciting game. They both committed a lot of turnovers, but they both shot well. Both hit more than 10 3-pointers. Syracuse wasn't great from the free throw line. Florida State was had 11 more plus 11. They shot 74% from the free throw line, 60% for Syracuse, but Florida State was plus 11 from the free throw line. They were 21-9 in second chance points. And that's what kept them in the game. And they were 10 of 27 from three. Syracuse was 11 of 27, so they made one more, same number of attempts. Syracuse shot 60% from the field. Rebounding was basically even. Florida State did have 4 more offensive rebounds that helped lead to those second chance points. Syracuse was 25-14 points off turnovers, 24-9 fast break points, 46-36 paint points. Each had 14 turnovers. Each had 12 assists. It was a really good game. Again, it was sloppy at times, but it was high scoring, entertaining. And I'm going to say this till I'm blue/orange in the face. This Syracuse team, obviously with Donnie Freeman back, is a different offensive team. I am concerned about their defense a little bit. But to be fair, Florida State came into this game stinking on defense, but they score a ton. I think they were second in the league in scoring offense or top couple. Like 83, 84. So, I knew it was going to be higher scoring. But Syracuse shot the ball well, and their bread and butter is getting out in transition, getting points off turnovers, getting fast break points. And that's what they did. They shot well from the field. They shot well from deep. They shot 60% from the free throw line, which is kind of like par for the course for them. But they're 9 of 15. So, they didn't have a crazy number of attempts. And okay, it wasn't like an amazing win. I think they won by 8. I think the line was like 8. So I don't care if they covered the spread. Florida State played better than a 7-9 team. And some folks will say, well, Syracuse is playing down to its competition or this and that. Look, they come into this game winning. Syracuse had won 2 in a row in the ACC, both on the road. They come home. Florida State had lost 3 in a row. But, maybe they were playing with a little bit more sense of urgency. And Syracuse did what it needed to do. And they got the win. So I'll take it. So Syracuse is 12-5 overall, 3-1 in the ACC. They got BC on the road on Saturday. They need to win that game. They'll get to 13-5 if they do. 4-1 in the ACC with 3 road wins. Obviously, they're not A lot of them are great, quad ones or whatever. Pittsburgh's quad two. Florida State was quad three. BC, I think, would be quad three as well. But look, you need to take care of business against these teams and just play with confidence. And then you got some tougher games coming up. So it was a win. A win is a win. It was at home. It was exciting. Calvin Russell was in uniform, and it was cool. It was an okay win, but I'll take it. I will totally take it. And the two, there were multiple guys that played well for Syracuse, but for me, yes, Donnie Freeman led the team in scoring. The offense, he's the guy. I'll get to that, but Tyler Betsy, man, 21 minutes, 6 of 9 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3, 18 points. He didn't have any rebounds. He had 1 foul and 2 turnovers. I mean, I don't know how to say this without sounding like a jerk, but like he really is just a scorer, and that's okay. But yeah, I don't think he's particularly good on defense. He's not much of a rebound. I don't know what his. You know what? Let me look it up. Now I'm curious. Like what his season like stats are in terms of rebounds and all that other stuff. Which is again, he's a he's a scorer. Let's look this up. Sorry, I don't remember this stuff. So coming into this game, he was averaging 18 minutes, 8 points, 3 rebounds. 0.3 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.3 turnovers, 0.3 blocks, blah, blah, blah. Shooting 37% from deep. That'll obviously go up. And he's a scorer. And that's fine. That's what he it's interesting though. People were making comments when I was, doing stuff for Inside the Loud House last night. And, oh, Nate Kings is struggling and we brought him in to be same, Kings hasn't been great. He's had a few good games, but he's not amazing. Actually, I think he's a pretty good defensive player, pretty good rebounder. But Betsy, that dude can score. And he is a former top 50 national prospect in the 2024 class from Connecticut. I believe he was a 2-time either Max Preps or Gatorade, whatever, player of the year in Connecticut, St. Thomas More School. Was recruited by Syracuse in high school. Ended up going to Cincinnati, didn't play much. But, 6 threes. Without him and Freeman, they don't win. And so I know Betsy is a streaky shooter. But, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it. I'll take it all day and all night. So, I don't expect Betsy to have games like that all the time. 6 threes, but 6 of 8, which is 75%. So the number and the percentage are both ridiculous. So that's not going to happen all the time. But listen, man, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. But this team runs through Donnie Freeman. And, he's been back for a couple games now. He's so good. He's so good. He just opens up the floor and he just seems like calm and he's just like a calming presence. I mean, he's not perfect. He had 25 points, 9 of 12 from the field. He hit a 3, 6 of 7 from the line, 7 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, a block, 3 steals, only two fouls. He's so good. And it's like, I feel like for points of the game, I felt like he wasn't getting enough touches, but that happens. Games ebb and flow. Stuff ebbs and flows, but yeah, he made who was it? He made a really good pass he had one good play where he had like a turnover, but then he had hustled his butt back and got a block, and then he went back down and scored and got fouled. I think he missed that free throw on the and one, but yeah, he's just so good, and he's a good passer. He's a pretty good rebounder. I'm not saying he's William Kyle on defense, but he's solid, and he just this team is just so much different with him there. And look, Sadiq White, who had been starting, he had 6 points. He got called for a technical foul for chirping. I thought it was a pretty lame call, to be honest with you, but whatever. But Sadiq was 3 or 4 from the field, 6 points, 3 boards, 2 blocks. He's a good defensive player. William Kyle, 9 points, 9 boards, 3 blocks, a steal. Nate Kings didn't do squat. Kyan didn't do much. Starling was 6 of 9 from the field, 13 points, 3 assists, 3 boards, 1 steal, 1 turnover. But that's 2 games in a row where he shot really well. I think the game before that against Pittsburgh, he was 7 of 11. So I'm not a math person. I'm a writer. I'm not a math person, but 13 of 20 shooting the ball the last two games, 65%. Yes, please. Yes, please. So, just it seems like, look, some people will be like, oh my God, they gave up 86 points to a terrible Florida State team. They could have lost. Yeah, okay, so what? Like I said, Florida State took Duke, which is a top 10, top 5, top 10 team. It was a 4-point game. It was in Tallahassee, if I remember correctly. But, you know, all these guys, all these teams, even the teams that have poor records, right? Like, they can still play. And, sometimes maybe you play down your competition, or look, Florida State's on the road and they've been struggling. So they're going to break out of their shell, or they feel like they have nothing to lose and they're going to get after it. I mean, they got athletes and they shot a lot better from three than they normally do. So did Syracuse. And they were, had a huge advantage, or a relatively large advantage, from the free throw line in terms of points scored and in second chance points. And that's what kept them in the game. Just like Syracuse won the game because of, multiple guys playing well, but the fast break points, the points off turnovers, shot well from the field, shot well from deep. I mean, it's really as simple as that. But Donnie is he is a stud. He is a pro. God, please stay healthy, buddy. If he stays healthy and this team's firing on all cylinders, I'm not like I don't want to be like, overstating things, because I want to see, let's assume they take care of BC, again, 13-5, but then they got, I don't remember the schedule off the top of my head, but they got like teams like NC State and Virginia and Miami and then Duke and North Carolina and Virginia Tech. Let's see how they do against some of these other teams. But with Donnie in the mix and JJ shooting better, and if Betsy's doing what he's doing, Nate George. Oh, wait, I didn't even mention Nate George. Shame on me, because I picked on him a little bit recently. Nate George was 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep. He had 8 points. He had 11 assists. 4 rebounds. He did have 4 turnovers, but 11-4, that's basically a 3-1. I'll take that. He also had 2 steals. He was really good. So if you got Nate George doing his thing and he's a guy that's going to commit some turnovers, but he 11 assists to 4. I'll take that. But if he's doing his thing and, Donnie is leading the charge and William Kyle is a double-double guy and Betsy's doing what he's doing, or if you get like Cayenne and Sadiq and to contribute a bit, like Nate Kings again isn't really impressing me recently, but this is a good team. They're not amazing. I don't know if they're a tournament team. Maybe they are, but they don't stink either. They're a good team. They're a good team. All right. I'm gonna wrap up here. I'm gonna just talk about Calvin Russell for a second, because I've talked about him a bunch on Syracuse Central, mainly from a football standpoint, and I've been covering him for Inside the Loud House, for a long, long time. And, it was like he verbally committed to Syracuse football. He's a 2026 5-star wide receiver at a Miami Northwestern Senior High School. Verbally top 25 national prospect, highest commit for Syracuse football in more than 20 years. And he verbally committed to Syracuse football in July. And, at that time, I first reported that he was going to join the basketball team, too. Other people have certainly talked about it since then, too. But I had that, like, the day he committed, verbally committed. But then there was obviously all this flip chatter stuff, whether it was Miami or whoever, Michigan or Florida, like whoever, all fall. And, he delayed his signing by one day and all. But look, he signed. He arrived on the Hill, in recent days. He ready to go for the start of the spring semester on Monday, and he joined Syracuse basketball officially. And he practiced on Monday. He was on the bench Tuesday. He said in an interview with Sean Dorselis, who's a really good dude, host for Syracuse Athletics media stuff, that he basically in essence said it was a no-brainer for him to join Syracuse basketball. He says he's been playing Syracuse basketball basically since he came out of the womb. His mom was a star player at Miami. He's been playing basketball longer than football, and obviously he's more highly rated in football because that, kind of is just the way it is. But as I've, again, talked about on Syracuse Central, and I've written about on Inside the Loud House, and other people have written about it too, it's not like a big secret, he's really good in basketball. He's got great positional size as a wing player. He can shoot it. He's athletic. He gets after it defensively. He averaged, I think, like 15 points a game his junior year at Miami Northwestern, like 21 points, if my memory serves correct, as a sophomore, and like almost 20 or almost 19 points a game as a freshman in his junior season, I think it was like the state playoffs. I don't know if it was like a regional semifinal game. He had like 38 points and 19 rebounds or something. Like the dude can play. And he had offers from a bunch of high majors besides Syracuse in basketball. A bunch. Michigan, a whole bunch of others. I don't even remember. It doesn't even matter. The point is, like, I know he's technically a walk-on with Syracuse basketball, and like, I don't know, is he going to play all 4 years? Is he going to get on the court at all? I don't know. But I think it's just cool. It was just cool to see him on social media and with his basketball jersey on, and they showed him, on the ACC network broadcast, and they mentioned, other multi-sport stars from Syracuse, whether it's McNabb, who overlapped with me, and I was there for the Georgetown game when I think he scored like 10 points. He was awesome. Helped them win that game. And then, Jim Brown and it just, I don't know, just having covered Calvin for a while and just like the anxiousness over the fall about, was he going to sign with Syracuse? Was he going to flip? And to see him on campus in a Syracuse basketball uniform, which is it's a little strange just that he's starting his Syracuse sports career. The first thing you see is him in a basketball uniform versus football, which is obviously the sport he's more known for, at least publicly, nationally, and all that. But like, good for him. And he said it was like a no-brainer. Like, he's been playing these two sports all his life. Why not continue at the next level? Sure, go for it. And some people be like, oh, what if you get injured or what? Like, dude, you can get injured doing anything. Like, knock on wood. Like, you be you, Calvin. And if he gets into a game and it's at home and he's like, fans are going to go nuts. And I'll be curious to see what happens, the start of spring practice and how that overlaps with like the ACC tournament and men's basketball. And if Syracuse gets to the NCAA tournament, just so you all know, and I wrote about this on Inside the Loud House, this week, I asked the main football and basketball PR dudes, like, what would happen, and it was hypothetical, like what would happen if Syracuse, like, let's say basketball went to the NCAA tournament and like that stretched past the start of spring practices in football, like what would Calvin do? And they both said they don't know right now, and that's a hypothetical, and I get it. I don't know. Like, honestly, if Syracuse goes on a run to the NCAA tournament and Calvin wants to like delay spring practice to be with his basketball team, dude, rock out. If he's like a week or two late to spring practice, that's not going to like cause like a pitfall in his performances in football. It's just not. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it's cool. It was cool to see him on the bench. I hope he gets into a game. But it's just I'm happy for him, and obviously I hope he shines on the football field as well. But the dude is obviously extremely just gifted athlete, gifted, and I'm telling you, like, he can play in hoops. Like, when he first verbally committed to Syracuse, I talked to a few scouts that like follow Florida high school basketball well. Like, I don't, like, they do. And they told me, like, Calvin can play. If he was focused on basketball solely, he'd be highly ranked. And so we'll see. But congrats to Calvin. Congrats to Syracuse basketball. Like I said, they've got BC on Saturday, so we'll get more into that. We'll get into more transfer portal stuff. And just let me know what you want to talk about, friends. And so that's going to do it for today's edition of Syracuse Central on the Fan Arch Network. I am your humble host. Much love. My name is Neil Adler, or whatever you feel like calling me. My friends called me Neely growing up. You can call me whatever you want. It's cool. Remember, this is a PG family show. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Drop me comments about what you like and what you don't like and what you want to hear about. And again, congrats to Calvin. Congrats to Syracuse basketball. And have a great rest of your Wednesday, friends. I will talk to you again on Thursday. Take care.